never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine, I'm not.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to go to prizepicks.com and enter the keyword Ref Brandon, because you can double your deposit up to $100 just by going to prizepicks.com and entering the keyword Ref Brandon. It was a pleasure to be back in the ring last night at Alternative Pro Wrestling in Royston, Georgia. One more show this weekend. That'll be tonight at SWA Wrestling 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia, for SWA Reloaded. Hopefully I will see some of you, if not all of you, there. If you come and it's your first time coming, please feel free to walk up to me, introduce yourself, tell me who you are. I enjoy meeting new fans, and I meet new fans everywhere I go, and I love that. And typically if you tell me your name, I'll remember. If you just walk up to me and shake my hand and say, hey, how you doing? I just think you're being nice, and I'll totally forget about it. If you have any early thoughts, predictions on the Super Bowl coming up tomorrow night, please feel free to go ahead and leave it in the comment section so you can go ahead and get your thoughts, comments, predictions in now, so I ain't got to worry about Monday morning somebody saying, I knew that was going to happen. If you know it, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. Find out whether you are right or not. But today, here on the channel, going to be talking some NBA trade deadline deals. Now, of course, there were a ton of deals, but a lot of them, in fact, most of them, people are going to forget about by this time next week, because they really were irrelevant. And people always remember the blockbuster trades. So you're not going to remember a lot of the smaller trades, like my New Orleans Pelicans, for example, trading their backup point guard, Devontae Graham. People forget about that by this time next week because the trade meant nothing. I didn't want to talk about this in yesterday's video because the trade deadline was 3 o'clock Eastern time Thursday afternoon. But a lot of times, even though the trade deadline is 3 o'clock Eastern time, teams will start making a trade and being the process of a trade at 3 o'clock. So the trade won't get announced until late Thursday night or early Friday morning, even though it's already past the trade deadline. But as long as you're in the process of doing it, you're good. But since 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon Eastern time was the deadline, and some trades got announced after that, I figured I would go ahead and wait an extra day to make sure all the blockbuster trades were done before I talked about it. But now that it's Saturday, we're good to go. But some of the blockbuster trades that happened, of course, one involved Kevin Durant. He leaves the Brooklyn Nets to go to the Phoenix Suns. In the process, the Nets pick up Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and first round draft picks. And the funny thing about the Kevin Durant trade was, you remember all the hype and the hoopla that surrounded Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden in Brooklyn. Now, not only are none of them there anymore, but I think I read on Thursday that they played a grand total of 16 games together while they were in Brooklyn. Every single game, one of them was out hurt. So the Nets went out and got Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, and they played 16 games total together with all three of them on the court. Now Kevin Durant goes to the Suns, and I know this is the Suns trying to get Chris Paul a championship before he retires, but it makes it look like Kevin Durant is just chasing rings. Then we have the Lakers involved in a trade. They traded Russell Westbrook to the Jazz. The Jazz say they're going to buy out his contract, so it's looking like Russell Westbrook ain't really ever going to play for the Jazz. The Lakers also picked up D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt in that huge blockbuster trade. So Russell Westbrook, I believe I read that he signed that huge contract extension with the Thunder a few years back. And since he signed that contract, he has now played for 5 teams in, I believe, 5 years. Kyrie Irving, speaking of him, he goes to the Dallas Mavericks. The Nets pick up Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and draft picks. So Kyrie Irving goes to the Dallas Mavericks. And then we had the Golden State Warriors involved in a kind of a blockbuster trade because James Wiseman was drafted extremely high, and the Warriors had high hopes for him, but for whatever reason, it just never panned out. I don't know if he just didn't fit the system there, or if him and the teammates just didn't gel good together, or if he's going to be a late bloomer and he really hasn't hit his peak yet, or if he's one of those guys that was extremely overrated. But for whatever reason, the Warriors and James Wiseman just didn't work out. So it's a blockbuster trade in terms of the name James Wiseman, but in terms of production, it's not really. But they pick up Gary Payton II. The Houston Rockets get John Wall in a 3-team deal that included Danny Green. The Clippers get Eric Gordon, and the Grizzlies pick up Luke Kennard. And the last trade we'll talk about, another trade involving the Lakers. The Lakers traded Patrick Beverley to the Orlando Magic for Mo Bamba, or some say Bamba, but the correct pronunciation is Mo Bamba. And as I said, those are the blockbuster trades involving the stars or superstars of the NBA, but you can easily go to any sports website and click on the NBA section and see all the trades that happened. There were a ton, but as I said earlier in the video, most of them, unless it's your team, you're not going to remember. You're not going to remember a backup getting traded for a backup because it doesn't really make a difference one way or the other. But these are trades that are going to have an impact. And of course, now we got to see where guys like Russell Westbrook end up. Because if the Jazz do buy his contract out, he'll go somewhere else. Is anybody really going to pay big money for him? Because Russell Westbrook is a star. Some say superstar. I won't go that far. But he is a star. But if you look at his career in its totality, even though he's put up great numbers everywhere he's been, and there was 3 or 4 seasons in a row where he averaged a triple-double. And it's pretty hard to do that. But he hasn't, as of yet, made any team he played for any better. So if you're not going to make your teammates better and not going to make the team better, I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to give you $35-40 million to go out there and, yeah, have triple doubles and you're a stat stuffer, but the team's not winning. But I'm sure there's going to be somebody that's going to want to pick him up again. Any thoughts on this? Please feel free to let me know. Don't forget about Homes for Our Troops, the publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the inception in 2004, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program of services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. When I get into work every day, I immediately hide. Good employees are hard to find. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.